Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Hillsborough should be a touchstone for everything you do, the Home Secretary has told police officers. Theresa May, addressing the Police Federation conference in Bournemouth, said the poison of decades-old misdeeds was still just as toxic today. The Federation admitted mistakes were made and said it would support a public inquiry into the 1984 miners' strike, as our senior Home Affairs correspondent Simon Israel now reports.
A minute's silence for Hillsborough's 96 victims set the scene and the theme for this year's Police Federation conference. South Yorkshire's delegation of rank and file were among them. Their federation's chairman said they and their fellow officers should not bear the brunt of past mistakes.
We must draw a line. And we must also draw a distinction between the actions of a minority of senior officers decades ago and the behaviours of the majority of our members today.
But the Home Secretary came with other ideas. The lessons of Hillsborough, she said, should be the touchstone for the future of policing.
We must never underestimate how the poison of decades-old misdeeds seeps down through the years and is just as toxic today as it was then.
There was muted applause, but no boos, for this was a speech from the longest-serving Home Secretary of modern times, on behalf of victims, not just of Hillsborough, but of domestic violence and abuse too. And it was pitched to an audience which has long borne the brunt of her criticisms. The Police Fed Chair said today, in his speech before yours, don't tar officers of today with the actions of their predecessors from the past. But you've done just that today, haven't you?
No, I haven't. My message to the police today has been very simple. They are the custodians of justice. What we have seen over the years is too many people who have felt that the police have not acted in a way to give them justice.
No mention of Orgreave. When should we expect a decision on that?
Well, I'm still considering the papers that were given to me by the Orgreave Truth and Justice campaign. I met some of those campaigners last year. I'm looking at that and I'm considering it, and a decision will be made in due course.
There was no respite when the Shadow Home Secretary got on the stage and renewed his call for a public inquiry into Orgreave.
If we want a police service for this century, then we first need to have truth about how we were governed and policed in the last century.
Would you welcome an inquiry into Orgreave?
I think the question around Orgreave is an interesting one. I think if you're going to look at Orgreave, you've probably got to look at the whole of the policing and government policy around the miners' dispute. You can't look at something in isolation.
Drawing a line under Hillsborough will not be easy. More lengthy inquiries have begun, but a decision on South Yorkshire's suspended Chief Constable may be the start. Papers recommending his dismissal have today been sent out for review.
Simon Israel reporting.